Hello, and welcome to CTFO's Thursday night product training webinar. Join us as we revisit an excerpt from last month's Super Saturday, where CTFO's Global Marketing Advisor, David D'Arcangelo, interviews 15K Executive Manager Donna Farrell and Dr. Fred Templeman, one of the foremost authorities on the health benefits of the mangosteen fruit. He is also part of CTFO's Medical Advisory Board. Donna, take it away.
Oh, well, good day to both of you gentlemen. Dr. Templeman, David, thank you. It's an absolute pleasure and honor. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. The memories, I was on a phone call the other day with Fred, and we started talking about different people. And remember that funny event? And remember when we did this? And remember when we went there? And I'm like, we get to do it all again, even bigger and better. And so, yeah, it's, when you made a comment, Kevin made a comment right here about doing what no one else is doing. And when I saw that little fruit, and I have a little replica here, never heard of it. I knew about mangoes, didn't know about a mangosteen. And then this big bottle of red wine got plunked down on the table. What is that? That's my capsule powder pill. Like, what is that? It was what was just saying, doing what no one else was doing. So it was intriguing. And I'll tell you, I didn't know what I was doing. I just had a huge why. I had two small children and I wanted to keep them in their dance shoes. Life's a dance. I was a dancer, a ballerina, and I wanted to keep them. And dance isn't cheap. And I just was so intrigued about this new innovation. And this is back 2004 in Canada, and I joined about 3 weeks before Canada opened. About the same time as what happened here. I joined about 5 weeks before Canada opened with our new mangosteen. So it's just been so interesting reminiscing and having so much fun.
Donna, you traveled all over the world with that company, and Dr. Templeman came on and was the consultant advisor, all things mangosteen, for that company as well. Dr. Templeman, can you come on and welcome to the program and talk about the relationship with Donna and also everybody else as that company took off?
Well, Donna and I think there were only about 12 premiers who went to Thailand right away, and we went to a place called the Mangosteen Resort. It was up on the top of a mountain overlooking the sea, and it had a swimming pool that went all the way around the resort. So that if you wanted to get in there and swim, you had to be a swimmer in order to get into that pool and swim around. But it was a wonderful time. And these were people who were using something that they had never used before. It had never been introduced anywhere in the Western world. It had been used, of course, in traditional medicine paradigms in both India and China, and had begun, Indonesia argues that they began it. The Thai call it the Queen of Fruits, and they say that this is their fruit. And believe me, the greatest orchards in the world are in Thailand. And it's sold largely because it tastes really good on the inside. And no one knew that they were throwing away. I'm not talking about the medical practitioners, because the Thai traditional medical practitioners always use the outside. But most people who've been introduced to the mangosteen have known of its delicious white fruit, and that was why they were using it. We went to Thailand, and there were some challenges about getting appropriate fruit. There were some challenges about working with even though we decided that the mangosteen would be the fruit that we would use, it had a terrible taste barrier. And you really can't be successful if you've got an awful taste barrier. So we had a long 7 or 8 months of developmental work to try and be able to use the natural flavors that we could find to go with it. And I, as a doctor, was doing something that other people weren't doing. Nobody was using that. This is a long time ago. This was way back in the beginning of the century. And so we, in my office, used this and offered it. And I replaced 17 medications that I would write prescriptions for virtually on a daily basis with one fruit. And we had at the beginning, it didn't even have a name. We called it jungle juice. And I did a couple of studies with some people that were really my toughest patients, people who had had bad reactions to drugs, whose chronic illnesses just wouldn't seem to get off the starting mark as far as recovery. And I was blown away by the results that I had and became convinced very, very early on that this was something different than anything I had ever seen before. Yeah.
Dr. Templeman and Donna, fast forward to today. It was such a great run you had with the first product that anybody ever saw in the space, at least in a mass market way. Fast forward and tell me, Donna, you start. Why CTFO? What was the driver?
Well, first of all, I love this industry. I love innovation, technology, and helping people. I love working from home and helping people with their whys. So, I'm already sold on all the benefits that this industry and this type of entrepreneurship and type of business model can bless families and people. I'm here because of the queen of fruits. You had me at mangosteen. It just flooded back like those memories. And then, like you just said, why CTFO? I knew of you, David, knowing that Dr. Templeman, I have a book sitting here. Dr. Fred, you probably recognize this. I just looked at it, 2005. My name is on it because when I take it to my gatherings, nobody can steal it because it's the only one I have. He wrote this and it's 2005 and it pertains to today and people are going through this. So we have all this background. When you said 17 medications, with this technology, 10x pure nano emulsion technology married with this, the sky was the limit. I started dreaming again, David. I was on that phone call learning and I wasn't even listening. Mangosteen, I was off into the future of where we could go with this. I have to stop because in my magazine, we were so silly. I went to the paint store and I wanted the front door to be the color of the mangosteen. My office walls were the color of the mangosteen. We branded ourselves and we get to do that all again. This technology is when you pop this down in front of someone, they're going, what is that? And I said, well, it's twist and miss. Well, I've never seen anything like this. So we're bringing that innovation. And I know everything was the dress rehearsal, our practice, the backup band. Here is the performance. And I'm just so happy to be in that 2.5% innovator leaders, as all of you are watching this with us today. We are these innovators bringing this incredible product. And we've got the backing and the expertise of Dr. Templeman and your, Kevin, Stuart, David, your expertise in running and growing billion-dollar companies. So we have the best of it all right here, right now.
Thank you, Donna. And I want to just drill down to people, pull back the curtain a little bit on how working with Dr. Templeman is so special and is for everybody's benefit. The man lives the truth. He lives the innovation that Kevin talked about, but that in that innovation, he doesn't take any shortcuts. There is nothing but the truth. And in our conversations yesterday, preparing for today, Dr. Templeman and I, Dr. Templeman, can you comment on, we made the discovery, we launched Xanthomist, but we're not done, are we? There's a lot of work to do.
Well, we're doing a study right now, as you know, with a number of people who have never used the mangosteen before. Ideally, when you're doing a study, you want to do it with someone who's naive so that there are no potential biases that are going to be either favorable or unfavorable. So we're working largely with people really who haven't had experience with the mangosteen. And that is a short-term study. It's only a month long, but it's already into its second week and we're having some very, very interesting observations. But you said why CTFO? And the fact of the matter is that you guys had the courage to take an innovation that is a general purpose technology. Nanotechnology changes the way everything is done, everything. And you had the courage to go into a place where the mangosteen was very well established. And at that time, I think there were about 45 different companies that were selling mangosteen products, but not a single one that had stayed up on the cutting edge of the technology revolution of nanotechnology. And you had the courage to go out there and to do that. And that's what attracted me, because way back in 2007, I tried to convince the people who were in that tremendously successful company that there might be a better way than shipping water in bottles all around the world. And because they were in a large number of countries, I visited 22 countries with to go and speak to the distributors, and also to go in when the countries were being opened or considered to be opened. And that was all over the world. And I was talking to scientists those days, were almost before the bulk of the internet facility that exists today, where I can talk to 10 people in 10 countries at any point in time. That wasn't possible. I was getting on planes. I flew in the fourth year that I was working as a consultant for them. I flew 300,000 miles. And I got all the points for the flights. But it was a tremendously busy time. It was fascinating. And everybody that I was talking to as a scientist or as a physician was hearing it for the first time, except in the deep hinterland of Thailand, where I went for 2 weeks and followed a little practitioner around and saw how he was doing his business. This was not new to him, nor was it new to there was in the Temple of the Golden Buddha, where I met with the head monk. He had a book written in Sanskrit about all of the Thai traditional medicines that were based on botanicals. And the mangosteen was in there. I couldn't read it. I was considered not to be I wasn't a Sanskrit scholar, so I wouldn't have been able to read it. But he showed it to me. I was impressed. I went out into the jungle for 2 weeks with one of these little practitioners, and I was impressed all to death. Of course, he was trying to use the mangosteen as much as he could. He had other herbs and things that he was using, but he was trying to impress me, and he did. And I remained impressed for 20 years.
Thank you, Dr. Templeman. And Donna, I'm going to let you close it out on your vision. What, after being in another company and being so successful, and now you're here to do it, I assume, bigger and better with integrity and character, I'm going to let you close it out and share that vision with all of our associates out there.
Well, thank you, David. And, I remember the first time I met Dr. Templeman, we shared a cab. We both arrived in Hawaii at the same time. And one of the person that really started the mangosteen, his name was Joe, and he wanted to meet me. And so he flew me and another friend into Hawaii, and we got off the airplane, and there was Dr. Templeman, and I hadn't seen him before. I'd only heard of him. And then we realized who he was, and he shared his cab with us. And that was such a bonding. And we were chatting about that the other day. In closing out here, my why has changed. A lot of our whys have changed over the last few years. And if we look at where we want to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, where do I see this going? We created that big bottle of juice, went to, multi-billions. I flew to Guadalajara by myself, stood on a stage at their grand opening. I think you were there, Dr. Templeman.
Yeah.
And I was translated into Spanish. I had 30 people there in that room,
Yep.
Medical doctors, chiropractors from Puerto Vallarta and parts of Los Cabos and everything that drove in and flew in. I was on a stage speaking and having myself translated into a foreign language. When I went to the Mangosteen Resort, I was the same age as the owner's wife. I have her beaded Thailand shoes still in. She traded me my plastic flip-flops for her beaded Thailand shoes. I still have clothing that was created by the tailors in, I used to spell Phuket. I spelled it with an F and it sounded like a swear word. That was my first blooper at a meeting. We get to go to Bucket, Thailand, spelled with an F. It was awful. I had bloopers, but we laugh now. So we're in Phuket, and I still have some of those gowns and outfits in my closet today. I just want to say to everyone right now, you know, my children are now I'm a grandmother. But my first story, and I have to share this with the juice. We had to have 3 bottles in the fridge because my daughters would just swig right out of them. So one was Abby, one was Jamie, and one was Mommy. And we had our bottles. And I remember you used to say, well, how much? Well, if you feel good, take a swig. If you feel a little bit sick, take a couple swigs. Kind of like the dosing we are doing here. You know, mist, wait. I call it a misting minute. Wait, feel your body. Maybe a little more, and let it load and saturate in. My daughter was really struggling at a young age, and all my friends had young children then. And you know, when the asthma inhalers were being thrown in the trash, and my daughter's grade 1 teacher calls and goes, what are you doing with Abby? She's changed. I go, uh-oh, what's going on? She goes, she's concentrating. She's paying attention. She's listening. What are you doing? I said, well, I just have her drinking this juice. Whatever you're doing, keep going. We're getting those same stories again now. What's in that? You know, I haven't had a headache in 3 days. I wake up every day. What's in that? I went and my AC1 numbers are improving and the doctor wants to know what it is. My oncologist wants to know what it is. I have a woman whose eyesight, her prescription glasses, she's 86. She hasn't had a reduction in her prescription in decades. What is this? We have something so needed. And all I want to say is turn the Netflix off. Find the time to put in effort. This isn't work. This is sharing from our hearts. We have I feel a bigger responsibility and desire and passion to share this with the world. And doesn't have to be fancy technology. I'm meeting a group later today. We're just going to sit around a kitchen table and share stories. So stories sell, and just have passion and take a look into your future of where you want to go. Our company changing the future outcome. We're changing the future outcome, and we all have a chance to be in this innovator group moving forward. So I am honored to be here. I'm super excited, and we're going to have so much fun, better than before, with this group of individuals. The best is yet to come for sure. So thank you, David.
I would just say you are, I like to say, we're going to make a difference, have fun, which you're obviously on top of that one, and make money. So Dr. Templeman, pleasure. You're the absolute consummate professional. We're happy to be in business with you. And Donna, thank you for being on today and sharing your leadership.